Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak Up Fluent. I'm Jake, and I'm here with my fantastic co-host, Nina.
Hi guys, Nina here. Today, we're diving into a super fun topic, how to talk about hobbies in English, and how that can actually boost your speaking skills. I mean, who doesn't love talking about the things they enjoy?
Exactly. Hobbies are such a natural conversation starter. Whether you're meeting someone new, practicing English, or just want to make friends, talking about your hobbies is the perfect way in.
So, Jake, let's jump right in. What's your go-to hobby when someone asks?
For me, it's got to be photography. I love exploring new places and capturing moments. Once, I spent an entire afternoon lying on the ground in a city park just to get the perfect shot of a squirrel. People were staring, but hey, that's dedication.
That's hilarious. Did the squirrel at least pose for you?
Oh, absolutely not. It ran away the second I got focused. But I did get a blurry tail in the frame. Artistic, right?
I'm impressed by your commitment. Okay, so when people talk about their hobbies in English, what are some easy phrases to start with?
Great question. The classics are I like, I enjoy, or I'm into. For example, I like painting, or I'm into hiking. If you want to get a bit fancier, you can say, I'm passionate about cooking, or I spend a lot of time playing guitar.
Oh, I like that. I'm passionate about. It makes you sound so enthusiastic. Can you give us an example of how to keep the conversation going after someone mentions their hobby?
Absolutely. Let's say you ask me about my hobby, and I say, I enjoy photography. You can follow up with questions like, how did you get into that? Or, what do you like to photograph the most? This shows you're interested, and it encourages the other person to share more.
So, it's all about showing curiosity. That makes sense. What if someone wants to talk about a hobby they just started? Is there a good way to say that in English?
Yes. You can say, I recently started learning how to, or I've just gotten into. For example, I recently started learning how to play the piano, or I've just gotten into yoga. It's a great way to show that you're open to new experiences.
That's really useful. And it probably helps you connect with people who are also beginners, right?
Exactly. And you might even find someone who wants to practice with you. That's happened to me a few times. Once at a photography workshop, I met someone who was just as clueless about camera settings as I was. Instant friendship.
Bonding over confusion. I love it. Now, Jake, what if someone wants to talk about a hobby they do with friends or family? How would they say that in English?
You can say things like, I usually play tennis with my brother, or I love cooking with my friends on weekends. Adding who you do the hobby with makes your answer more interesting and personal.
Makes sense. It gives the conversation more depth. Let's do a little role play. I'll pretend to be a learner, and you correct me if I sound a bit off. Ready?
Great effort. Just a small fix. I like playing football with my friends. Remember, after like, we use the verb with ing.
Got it. So, I like playing. Is it the same with enjoy?
Yeah, same rule. I enjoy swimming. I enjoy reading, and so on.
Awesome. Now, some people have really unique hobbies, like beekeeping or glass blowing. How can someone describe an unusual hobby without sounding awkward?
I love that. If you have an uncommon hobby, own it with confidence. You can say, my hobby is a bit unusual. I keep bees. Or, I have a unique hobby. I make stained glass art. You can even add, people are often surprised when I tell them.
That's a great tip. Okay, let's flip it. If someone shares a surprising hobby with you, what's a good way to react in English?
Try, wow, that's interesting. How did you get into that? Or, that's so cool. I've never met anyone who does that before. It shows you're genuinely impressed and curious.
Love it. So, Jake, I have to ask, what's the weirdest hobby you've ever tried?
Oh, definitely competitive yo-yoing. I saw a group performing at a fair and thought, how hard can it be? Turns out, very hard. My yo-yo spent more time on the floor than in the air.
We'll see about that. Okay, moving on. How about when people want to talk about how often they do their hobby? What phrases can they use?
Good one. You can use phrases like, I usually, I often, or I try to every week, for example. I usually go jogging in the mornings, or I try to paint at least once a week.
I like that. It gives a better picture of your routine. Is there a way to talk about a hobby you wish you had more time for?
Absolutely. You can say, I wish I had more time to, or I don't get to as often as I'd like. For instance, I wish I had more time to travel, or I don't get to play chess as often as I'd like.
Super useful. So, Jake, do you have a hobby you wish you had more time for?
Definitely, playing the guitar. I bought one during lockdown and imagined myself becoming the next rock star. In reality, it mostly collects dust.
Same here, but with baking. My oven has seen more frozen pizza than homemade bread. Okay, so let's shift gears. Why do you think talking about hobbies is such a good way to practice English?
Because it's personal and easy to talk about. When you discuss something you care about, you're more relaxed and your words come naturally. Plus, you get to learn vocabulary that's actually useful in your everyday life.
That makes sense. Plus, you never know when your hobby could connect you to someone new. For example, I once bonded with a stranger on a bus over our love of knitting. We ended up swapping patterns.
That's awesome. And it's proof that hobbies are a universal language. Even if your English isn't perfect, the passion you show makes up for it.
Speaking of passion, what are some adjectives people can use to describe how much they love their hobby?
Good one. Try words like crazy about, obsessed with, or mad about. For example, I'm crazy about salsa dancing, or I'm obsessed with video games.
So much more interesting than just, I like. Any other phrases to make it even more natural?
You can also use, I can't get enough of, or I live for the like. I can't get enough of mountain biking, or I live for Sunday morning yoga.
Love those. Okay, let's take a quick pause for an audience question. We got a message from Layla in Brazil. She asks, how can I talk about my hobby in a job interview without sounding too casual?
Great question, Layla. In a job interview, you want to connect your hobby to valuable skills. For example, in my free time, I enjoy playing chess, which helps me improve my strategic thinking and patience. That way, your hobby sounds relevant and professional.
That's such a clever trick. So, if you like painting, you could say, painting helps me develop my creativity and attention to detail.
Exactly. It shows you're thoughtful about your hobbies and the skills you gain from them.
Awesome advice. Now, Jake, I have a confession. When I first learned English, I tried to say, I'm a bookworm. But I said, I am a book insect. My teacher still laughs about it.
That's amazing. I once heard a student say, I'm really into chessing, instead of playing chess. Language fails are the best way to learn.
Absolutely. So listeners, don't be afraid to make mistakes. We all do it, sometimes in the most creative ways.
And sometimes, Those mistakes turn into inside jokes or great stories. Embrace them.
Okay, Jake, let's wrap up with your top 3 tips for talking about hobbies in English.
Sure. First, keep it personal. Share why you love your hobby. Second, ask follow-up questions to keep the conversation flowing. And third, don't be afraid to use new vocabulary or expressions, even if you make mistakes.
Love it. My tip: practice talking about your hobbies out loud, even if it's just to yourself or your pet. The more you say it, the easier it gets.
My bonus tip: try to find a language partner who shares your hobby. Practicing English while doing something you love makes learning way more fun.
Perfect. That's it for today's episode on talking about hobbies in English. If you found this helpful, please follow, share, and subscribe. And tell us in the comments, what's your favorite hobby?
We can't wait to hear your answers. Until next time, keep practicing, keep speaking, and most importantly, keep having fun.